In this video,
Good left hook to the body by Gaddy.
we look back at some of the most brutal knockouts in boxing history.
Whoa, what a left hook. What a left hook.
Second knockdown of the round.
That was a leaping left hook, and Griffin may not survive it.
That stopped his ball. Big right hand and down goes Chavez. Having trouble fighting back. Down goes Johnson.
That's it. That whale was just harpooned.
Let's get straight to it. Under the guidance of trainer Buddy McGirt, Arturo Gatti was transitioning from a brawler into a more refined boxer, and his fight against Doreen highlighted this evolution.
Good left hook to the body by Gaddy. And Doreen goes down. What a tremendous shot.
Doreen may not recover.
He's not going to make it. Arturo Gatti has knocked out Leonard Doreen with a body shot. A tremendous left hook to the body. We talked about the power difference. And that was just power knocking a man out.
Power and precise punching. That was a very smart combination that he used to do that. He threw the 1-2-3, then he came back and followed it with the 1-2-3 and added a left hook to the body. That was beautiful boxing.
That's about the most decisive one-punch body knockout since Roy Jones.
Knocked out Virgil Hill with a right-hand body shot in New Orleans. That's right. And that was a case of bigger man, bigger punch.
I'm not prepared to say that. I just think it was a precise punch because when you look at the body of Doreen, he's as solid as anybody could be. He's just shorter than Gaddy.
Instead of charging forward as he typically would, Gatti fought on the back foot, showcasing his newfound patience and technical skill in the ring. The finish was a perfect blend of strategy and brutality. Gatti set it up beautifully by throwing a few throwaway punches to Doreen's head, forcing him to raise his guard. Then with precision, timing, Gatti ripped a devastating liver shot that completely overwhelmed Doreen. The impact of the punch was so severe that there was no way Doreen could beat the count. Gatti's performance in this fight was a clear demonstration of his growth as a boxer, combining his natural power with the strategic finesse he developed under Buddy.
All to the head just to make him pick his hands up, and then there goes the beautiful body shot.
And at that moment, you had to suspect that Doreen was going to pop back up, but he never regained his legs from the withering liver shot that Gatti was able to produce.
Well, he was coming in. As you see his hands, his guard is right up in the air. I couldn't go to the head, and that was a perfect body shot right there. Professional, on point, and on target.
All right, another angle. There you see.
He's coming in. He's worried about his head, and I put everything on that left hook. All my weight is shifted to the left, and I knew once he went down, I knew it was over. I raised my hand after the count of 3, and I want to thank God. Larry, I do believe that I feel good now. Trust me, more than a victory for me for not going to the hospital right after the fight. It feels good, trust me.
Go much past this because Costa Zou's having his way. Another low blow, good left hand by Chavez. And now Chavez getting a little desperate with those low blows. I would take a point away if I was Ferrari, and he will. Low blow. That is absolutely the right thing to do. It came during a Chavez rally, and that's too bad for Chavez, but guess what? You're supposed to throw your punches legally. So point being deducted from Chavez here in the 6th round. And that stopped his ball. Big right hand, and down goes Chavez. Will he get up? And will he continue?
Hey, boss. Can you continue? Put him up. You all right? You sure? All right, come on.
I'm not sure he wants to continue. Costa Zou is a great finisher. He has Chavez in trouble, and there are almost 2 minutes left in this round. If this fight gets out of the 6th round, it will be surprising. Chavez comes after him and takes a big left hook. He's getting whacked with big shots. Costa Zou looking to the referee because of more low blows, but Chavez keeps punching. It's a war here in the 6th round. It gives Chavez credit for fighting back. Zou whacking him with punch after punch. It was competitive for one round, and since then it has.
If Kostya Tszyu and Julio Cesar Chavez had met while Chavez was in his prime, I believe Chavez would have taken a similar approach to what Ricky Hatton or Vince Phillips did. He would have kept Tszyu under constant pressure, breaking him down and likely getting a stoppage win. But in this fight, Chavez was 38 years old and looked more like a vintage car that's been in the garage a bit too long. Tszyu's right hand was on point, almost like a laser beam from a sci-fi movie, and Chavez just couldn't handle it. To me, Chavez looked spent, like he just didn't have it in him anymore.
I feel a hatred, a tremendous amount of hatred towards you. If it weren't the present time, if we were living in the Roman times, I would have killed you right there and then because of a dirty look that someone gives me with jealousy. I love it when the audience starts to boo me. It riles me up even more. I'm the type of person that if I know that I rub you the wrong way, I'm going to do something to piss you off even more. If you don't like the way I laugh, I'm going to laugh louder.
And Gonzalez has certainly succeeded in pissing off Riddick Bowe.
This hatred comes from '87 during the Pan American Games, when he started with the same talk as he did for this fight. The old hatred I have bottled up, that fury from the past has surfaced again and is directed towards Riddick Bowe.
Come on, one punch.
Bowe had a grudge match with Jose Gonzalez, who had beaten him in the amateurs.
Gonzalez's advantage. Hard right hand by Bowe. Gonzalez wobbled into the ropes.
Both guys really disliked each other.
That was exactly correct. The right hand has never been the most impressive.
Gonzalez was a tough guy with a bad mean streak. One thing's for sure, Gonzalez had the worst hairstyle in boxing. His hair looked like it had been styled by a tornado.
In return. Bowe risking disqualification there, and that was a stupid move.
Exactly.
Once again, he saw the frustration in Bowe as he almost got himself disqualified in the fight. He hit Gonzalez after the bell like he was trying to squeeze in a bonus round or two. There should have been some repercussions from the referee, but the referee was probably busy trying to figure out how Gonzalez's hair defied gravity.
Awful punishment, which speaks to the fact that he has everything in his life at stake.
That looks like a big advantage. There it goes. That should do it. And if he gets up from this, he fools me. Now, Mills Lane doesn't bother to complete the count.
Eventually, Bowe used the jab to get himself in position to throw the right hand, and Gonzalez was knocked out. I think Bowe's overhand right was just the perfect punch to beat Gonzalez with, like the ultimate finishing move in a video game.
Gonzalez actually kind of stepping up forward into that.
Roy Jones challenged for the WBC world title at 175 pounds. He was on top, winning the rounds, and he hurt Griffin.
Oh, there's no question about it. Look at Roberto Duran, who's one of the greatest lightweights. Big right hand by Jones. Big right hand. And Griffin is hurt. No question about it. Griffin is hurt.
Jones looking to finish. Griffin wobbling a little bit. Jones comes in and lands the right hand lead again. And a couple of left hooks. And Griffin's knee goes down. And Jones lands two punches after Griffin's knee was on the canvas. And now Griffin slumps forward. And Tony Perez starts the count.
That was a foul. I don't know
He's
what
not
Perez
getting up.
would call it.
Question about it. Two punches while he was down.
But in a move that could only be described as, what were you thinking? Roy took a free shot at Griffin while he was on the canvas.
And that was the difference between a knockdown and a knockout, or so it appeared from here.
It was a definite foul.
Foul.
Harold Letterman, what's the rule?
Jim, in my mind, there is absolutely no question that Tony Perez had just cause to disqualify Roy Jones Jr. should he have made that decision. I mean, it's the referee's call. In my eyes, absolutely he fouled him. Griffin seemed to be down on one knee, and Jones knocked him out when he was on the floor.
You know what?
Perez could have disqualified him.
Let's take another look. Griffin goes down from an accumulation of punishment. Now he's down.
He went down voluntarily. That's why Jones was a little bit mystified.
Oh, there's no question that Jones. You remember the Riddick Bowe Mathis fight? When they
Jones got disqualified for that one.
We are being told that Roy Jones is going to be disqualified.
Knee down.
Now there's plenty of
One,
time.
two.
No question about it in my mind. Definite disqualification. Now look, he has all the time in the world. He's looking at the guy while he's down. Nails him 2 more punches.
Hard to imagine what Roy was thinking when he fired that left hook because he knew the man was down.
The referee disqualifies the red corner. The winner and new WBC light heavyweight champion of the world, Montel Ice Griffin.
But I want to tell you something. I honestly believe he faked it.
I'm with Harold. I think Griffin was doing a little acting there. It was clear Roy was the better fighter, but he ended up with his first loss thanks to a disqualification.
True the first time, it will be true again the second time.
And of course, Griffin believes that he thrives and will continue to thrive on being underestimated. Jones lands a solid left hook to start the fight.
Let me tell you, that first left hook hurt Griffin.
And so does the second one.
In his rematch with Griffin, an extremely angry Roy Jones did his best impersonation of a demolition crew.
It's very apparent that Jones is coming out stronger this time.
Roy Jones is playing the fainting game, and Griffin is benefiting by it. Oh, what a left hook. What a left hook.
Second knockdown of the round.
That was a leaping left hook, and Griffin may not survive it.
He's got trouble. 9. And that's that. Jones gets his vindication via a first-round knockout.
He absolutely destroyed Griffin in the first round with the left hook so perfect it could have been in a textbook.
Now here the first knockdown. Right on the button.
It's about not recovering.
Could have ruled it a knockdown on the basis of the ring ropes holding Griffin up, too.
Mistake by Griffin to try and punch with a true puncher.
End of fight here.
There was that leaping left uppercut.
Another look at the punch that finished it. He landed that flush, and you saw Montel trying desperately to get up, but he just couldn't get his legs underneath.
Oh, no, that hook, the uppercut bent his neck backwards, down the spine. You don't want to get up from those shots.
Griffin looked like a Saturday night drunk stumbling around the canvas while trying to get up.
If he can get to be 200 pounds, that's all he needs just to establish himself as I am a big man. The rest he has.
I'm with Big George on this one. I think Roy could have gone on to become a good heavyweight.
Roy Jones, Pensacola, we talk tonight. The Gulf Coast, Mississippi, all area, we talk tonight. The best man fight, the best fight in the world, pound for pound, I talk tonight.
We should explain that super welterweight and junior middleweight are the same thing. It's just that the WBC calls them super welterweights.
On the way up the rankings, Jackson continually disposed of his opposition very quickly.
Yes, and there's a right in the Nelson up. Took a right and then a tough left.
And he had been so conscious of the right by Jackson that in this case, Julian showed him a weapon he hadn't shown him before. Beautiful left hook. Jackson does a little histrionics.
Took a right and then gave a left back to Nelson. Another right to the head of Nelson. Leads with the right again. Has him in deep trouble. Nelson, as he weathered the storm, another right hand lead. And then a left staggers. Nelson holds right on his feet. Out on his feet. That's all. That's all. They stop it in the third.
Look at that celebration. He's celebrating like he's just won the lottery. But instead of cash, his prize is a collection of dazed opponents.
At this point, he was in all kinds of trouble, just unable to defend himself. Look at Jackson. He doesn't even want to punch. And the referee appropriately steps in.
Round 10. Max Bayer's about to open up with both hands.
Power prevailed in this fight. I thought Max Schmeling was the superior boxer. But Bayer was like a bulldozer with gloves and broke him down.
Referee Donovan picks up the count and Schmeling barely makes...
Schmeling was so hurt, he was standing there like a statue with a malfunctioning GPS. One thing about these old school fighters, they have insane heart. See how hurt Schmeling is, and there's still no quit in him. This was Bayer's best performance. If there were awards for destruction, he'd have a trophy room. Henry Wharton exploded out of the gate with incredible speed, landing a devastating left hook right from the start. It was a punch of pure artistry, and it sent Ron Malik reeling.
Scheduled for 6 rounds, but unlikely to go that far. That's the first punch that Henry Wharton threw, and he staggered the American with it. Henry Malik from Wichita, Kansas, down with 2-3 blows thrown. That was all. He doesn't know where he is. And it stopped. What was that? Maybe 3-4 punches inside 30 seconds of the first round. 22 seconds of the first round, and Ron Malik is still in a dazed state up against the ropes. Well, that was a whirlwind start and finish, Chip.
Well, we knew Henry Wharton could punch all right, but unfortunately we haven't learned very much else tonight, because all we saw was his sheer punching power. The first punch he threw was good enough to finish the fight. Malik managed to take the punch, didn't catch him quite cleanly, but as soon as the Wharton started to get through with punches, it was all over. But really a ferocious puncher, and from what we've seen tonight, definitely an attraction of the future.
Notice how that left hook lands with pinpoint precision.
First blow.
And that was it. Straight away, he's looking for blood. One thing.
Now look at how Wharton follows up. After that explosive start, he moves his head with slick agility, making sure he's not an easy target. The first hook connects solidly, and before Malik can even recover, the second one seals the deal. The referee had no choice but to stop it, in my opinion. Malik is clearly hurt and unable to defend himself.
I think myself it was the first punch what caught him, what seen the bout to an end, like, because then from then on it was easy. Then, you know, it would just lead up to being the knockout.
Well, after that first punch, he was an easy target, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, because he was throwing that lazy left hand, and I knew we were going to throw it, so I just thought slip inside and throw it again, and I must catch him. And this is where it comes, yeah. If I just lazy left hand, and there it goes. There's one of them.
Well, Mickey Duff will know how to groom you towards that World Championship, but I have to tell you, it's not going to be that easy all the time, you know?
Yeah, I know that, yeah. I know there's a long road ahead. I know that hard as well.
Mickey, straight into you.
Lopez's prime defense showcased his high-level defense and calm demeanor. He made the fight look easy, like he was saying, "Come at me if you dare." His movement and punching were so smooth, it was like watching a magician perform, only with more punches and less magic.
Well, that Norton is really hit me with the hooks and a right that hits on top of the head, and Pedro's in trouble and staggering back across in front of us.
30 seconds left in the round now. Lavelle's left eye is cut.
Ken Norton was definitely no worse than the third or fourth best heavyweight throughout most of the 1970s, and honestly, you could argue he was the top guy for a year or two. When you look at Norton's style, you could see a lot of Archie Moore in there. Basically, if Archie Moore and the Mountain of Muscle had a baby, you'd get Ken Norton. He was always in shape and looked like he was carved from granite.
Around. Norton misses with a right.
He doesn't miss with that hook, or that one.
Norton made great use of the cross-arm guard and his upper body movement, channeling Moore's defensive skills to the max. And let's talk about his pressure. It was legendary, as we can see in this fight.
Uppercuts from down beneath. He staggers him out the right. Oh, the knees buckled. Pedro Lavelle's in a lot of trouble in his own corner, trying to come back out now. The mouthpiece is out, and that's the only one the fighter can use.
Bird Hernandez put him back in his corner. That's it.
And the 3 knockdown rule was even way for this fight, and we never even really got a knockdown.
That uppercut, it didn't just straighten Lovell up, it almost launched him into orbit. Lovell's legs turned to jelly and the referee had no choice but to call it off.
Kenny slipped the right hand over on you a little bit. Are you susceptible to a right hand? And I'm not trying to knock it.
Yeah, I think anything you get caught with, you're susceptible to. And the thing is catching me with it.
You hooked pretty well today, though. I thought the hook coming off, you were doing a pretty good job of that with the left hand.
It was fairly well. I'm a little heavy, 220, and a little sluggish, but I feel that by the time Ollie and I get together, I'll be down to about 210, and I'll be ready.
Robinson's rematch with Turpin was like a masterclass in boxing 101. How to get revenge. Robinson's footwork was so smooth it could have been mistaken for a dance performance. His hand speed and punch variety were a testament to why he was known as one of the best finishers in boxing. Turpin's only choice was to try and survive, but Robinson wasn't having any of it.
Now here in slow motion. The convincing. Robinson steadies him. 1, 2. The same spot. And 3 again. A short right inside, a left hook, another right. Turpin is almost helpless. 1, 2. Now referee Goldstein steps in, and Ray Robinson is again middleweight champion of the world.
The winner and the new middleweight champion of the world, Sugar Ray Robinson.
Hey, Mark, cut that out or I'll take a point away from you. All right, now give me a nice clean fight. Shake hands. That is, let me at this dude. Let me at him.
Mark Reels came into his fight against Ramos like a man who drank way too much coffee, fired up and ready to go.
Very succinctly when he said, whoa, Ramos got nailed and down he goes. All right, Ramos up. Delgado waves them back together. And Ramos making his pro debut. Oh, nailed again with the right and the left. Down he goes. They're having trouble finding a neutral corner for Rios. And Ramos is up at 5, 6, 7, 8. He's hurt, Tommy. Yeah, he's hurt. He wants to fight. Delgado says, how are you? He says, I want to fight. And here comes Rios, says, I'm your guy. This is round number 2. And Ramos stopped in his tracks. And Rios has picked up his 3rd victory of the knockout here in round number 2. Putting Ramos down not once but twice. And if it hadn't been for Delgado stepping in, Ramos would have gone down for the 3rd.
From the first bell, it was clear he wasn't messing around. Reels came out throwing leather like he had a personal vendetta against Ramos's face. He landed a nice right hand, followed it up with a solid left hook to the inside, and boom, Ramos took those punches like a crash test dummy. He hit the canvas hard, probably wondering what just happened. But credit to Ramos, he got back up, though I'm not sure he knew where he was going. Unfortunately for him, Reels wasn't done yet. He threw one last right hand, and let me tell you, that punch was brutal. Reels put every bit of power he had into it like he was trying to send send Ramos straight into next week, and it worked. Ramos was out on his feet looking like he was trying to remember what planet he was on. Notice Ramos just leaves his head hanging out there on the inside like he was offering it up on a silver platter. Reels took one look at that and thought, well, don't mind if I do. That right hand landed so clean you could practically see the cartoon bird circling through Ramos's head.
Is Sonny Liston, reputed to be the most feared man in boxing at any weight.
From Philadelphia, Charles Sonny Liston.
Liston, reputedly one of the finest left jabs among recent heavyweights. That left jab, snake-like, and that left hand. Westfall has never been knocked off his feet until now. That's the first time Westfall has ever been on the floor. 8, 9, and 10. The fight is over in the first.
At this point, Liston has been the #1 contender for almost 2 years. If anyone didn't think Liston was the best heavyweight in the world, this image of Westfall badly hurt on the canvas was very convincing. Hopkins had a fast start against Wynn.
Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, Morgan State and South Carolina State as they get ready for their tournament. There's a left that caught Wynn. It looked like more of a push. I don't think it was a solid hit.
Well, and I think there was a right on top.
Notice the counter right here. It was so effective it could have been part of a magic trick.
A good left hook by Hopkins and a right, and Wynn is staggered.
Hopkins always had great balance. He could probably dance the tango and land a knockout punch without missing a step.
Him down here in the third.
His corner is trying to stop the fight.
They do.
It's all over. Was there anything that you wanted to do today that you didn't get a chance to get done? Get him out of there earlier than I did.
Kirk Johnson came into his fight against Vitaly Klitschko, 17 pounds heavier than he's ever been in his entire career. Spoiler alert, it wasn't a good look.
Chasing Johnson into the corner and pounding with the right hand. Crowd goes nuts. Got him again. Stunned with the left. Johnson's in trouble. Big trouble.
4, 5, 6, 7. Walk to me, Kurt.
Nobody has ever done this to Kirk Johnson in 12 years as a pro.
You want to see a heavyweight destroyer? Vitaly Klitschko wants to be your man. He wants to be your man right now. Big right hand lands again. Johnson having trouble fighting back. Down goes Johnson.
That's it.
Arthur McCarthy's going to stop the fight. That is it.
That whale was just harpooned.
Big time. And that is a great performance for Vitaly Klitschko.
I like it when they knocked him out. There's no questions from the judges, no referee interference, clean knockout. That's the way I scored him.
Now we have to wonder, how does Lennox Lewis see this? Does he see it as an opportunity for a major pay-per-view event? Or does he see it as an opportunity to go quietly into the sunset with his career?
What a turnaround. Right there before, and he let the fight get away. It seems tonight he was thinking, I'm not letting it get away. I'm going for a knockout. Kirk Johnson.
What an aggressive performance by Vitaly. He sensed that this was his moment, and he seized it. Tremendous.
Kirk Johnson, he knocked out the barbecue ribs.
Johnson was sluggish from the get-go, and Vitaly had an easy time landing straight punches. Basically, it was like shooting fish in a barrel. Johnson's speed was clearly off, and he just couldn't keep up. Vitaly made short work of him, dropping Johnson with a series of straight shots.
What you try to do, you get a guy hurt, why play around? Go for it. He see this guy's retreating, why let him off the hook? Jab, good jab. Waits for a good right hand, body shot, stays right on him, doesn't matter what. And he cleaned his house.
And just when you thought things couldn't get worse, Vitaly followed up with another knockdown, using more straight punches to seal the deal with a knockout. The last combination even included a body shot, which was a smart move, though at that point it was like adding a cherry on top of a very unfortunate Sunday for Johnson. Larry Merchant summed up perfectly with his iconic line,
"That whale was just harpooned."
It was a brutal yet fitting description of Johnson's performance. He came into the fight in poor shape, and Vitaly made sure everyone knew it.